Hello everyone, welcome to the Women's Space. I hope you've been good. I hope you've been doing amazing, taking time off when you need to, and just enjoying your year and just enjoying life as a whole. June, I hope June has been good to you. And we're almost halfway through June. Well, we are halfway through June. On the other side of June, actually. What am I thinking? But anyway, we're on the other side of June, very close to July. Setting new goals for the month and whatever it is. So I hope you are really good, and I hope you just, doing amazing. So today we're going to be talking about rather an uncomfortable topic. Because I don't think people want to speak about this. I don't think people do speak about this a lot, and I feel like they should, because I believe that everyone goes through the thing that we're going to talk about today, but yet it is like always the elephant in the room and people don't want to discuss it. And I think that's why it gets to us, because we think we're alone, we think we're doing it alone, we think we feel that feeling alone. And the women's space is where we really talk about topics that make every woman and every girl child understand that they are not going through anything alone. So let's get straight into it. Maybe I should give you a backstory about this. I've had feelings like this. I've had some of my own experiences with this topic that we're going to be talking about, which is comparison and life goals. So basically comparing yourself to others and also having life goals that, and obviously the goals that we set. We have to be honest with ourselves that sometimes the goals that we set is things that we've seen or things that we think are actually good lives to have or good things to have. So for you to regard yourself as like, I'm having a great life or I'm having a good life, you always accounted to having certain things or to being with certain people or to being a certain person. And if we are true with ourselves, where we actually gauge our comparisons, or where we get this life goals that we always talk about, is from media and everything that we see, people who we grew up with and what they do sometimes, and other people who are the same age, who are maybe the same race, who are female. Obviously that's also something we compare against, who are who've studied the same thing. So you always compare and say that, oh, if this person had such and such a life, or they went to such and such a school, which is the same school as me, then that means we should have similar lives. And if they are advancing, let's say they bought a car, then it means that I should be able to buy a car. So I just wanted us to unpack that topic and dive deep into it and talk about life goals. And also the trigger is that I received a message from a friend, and even before that, I was speaking to a friend while we're trying to sleep at 3 a.m. and I was telling them that I'm called to a ministry, and I feel God calling me to a ministry of, because everything is true. Whatever we share is true. Like when we share our good times, they are true. We are really having a good time at that particular time, and we want to share that. But I also heard God, or felt that God was telling me to share even the dark times, when it's not so easy, when I feel like I'm drowning, when I feel like, I really am not enjoying my life, whether it's marriage, whether it's just my personal experience with my body, whether it's my mind, I'm not enjoying the thoughts that I'm having. And I felt, especially when it comes to marriage and marriage revival, I felt God calling, and I haven't shared this with my husband, guys, so please don't go tell him. And I hope he doesn't listen to this episode, and I hope he doesn't certainly watch this video, because I haven't told him about this, to say that God is calling us to really speak about how we, met, obviously, and how we got to a place that we are in right now, and how he has revived us through all the stages. Because there's one thing that people are sharing, the good times in marriage, and people are sharing the bad times in marriage, but they always maybe share from a point of, oh, we got divorced, therefore you can do life after divorce, or they are sharing from a point of, oh, I'm having a wonderful marriage, my life is perfect, I don't have to worry about anything, these are the goals, please set your goals according to my life. They never say that, but we do it. But I felt like or I feel like, and God has been saying that no one is actually speaking about seasons within the same marriage. You know, having the same partner and struggling with the same partner and having good times with the same partner, and how, you know, obviously that transition from maybe starting good to bad, or starting bad to then God carrying through to the good. And obviously we never want to share those moments. I've never, you know, other than my personal circle, for good reason, because you don't want to share those things with people that, you know, use it against you, or people that just won't help you with anything when you share with them. So you always want to share with your circle of friends, people you are comfortable with, and especially underline, especially when you are really going through it all, because at that time you really need support. You're not ready to share that, okay, we're going through such and such, because maybe of how the people will receive it, and you're not ready to share because you also need your support. But I also believe that after you've gone through something, hear me, after you've gone through something, maybe there's something in there that God wants you to share and wants you to speak to someone about, and tell them about that, because they might be going through it in their season. And if we could share maybe after we've gone through a certain season, which is what God is telling me now, because I feel like we've gone through a certain season, we've gone through going through the most in the marriage, or, you know, even in life, in my personal journey, you know, depression. I feel like I'm finally finding my rhythm with depression and my thoughts and all of those things. When I was going through it, I really felt uncomfortable with admitting that, actually, guys, I have these thoughts. I feel like a failure. My body, I hate my body. I don't like the way I look and all these things. And, you know, I'm hearing now that I'm over it, and I'm over on the other side. I should be sharing that information so that people can see that these things happen, and you can move through them, and how to navigate through them. Which is why I've come to say that I don't know if actually we should have life goals based on other people's experiences, because you might be saying that, for example, I had this thing, like when I look at people's relationships, I'm like, yo, they're doing so well. They seem to be having their, perfect marriage, or whatever the case may be. But I found that although people don't face the same things, maybe not even as severe as what you had, but people do go through things, and you can't compare. I think a book says you can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10 or something like that. And the concept of that is that you can't really compare what you are going through and what someone else is going through at that current season, because it's not the same thing. Sometimes I even heard, couples saying that they don't share their fights on social media. They don't share when they are actually not agreeing on something. They've decided that social media will be a place where they celebrate marriage, where they celebrate each other, where they celebrate their lives. They won't use social media for, a platform to, diminish the light of marriage. They actually want to celebrate marriage in the social light, and all those things, which is the good reason. But if you don't have that perspective, if you don't understand that, then you will feel like they're having a perfect marriage, of which they're not. And so sometimes, because we compare to social media, we compare to pictures, we don't have the perspective of that person and what they are sharing. We don't understand from which side they are coming from, because there's also things of, speaking things into life, living your life as if it was this and that. And people do those things where they share things. It's not necessarily what they are going through at that moment, but it's something that they are calling into life, and they don't want to wallow in sadness or wallow in whatever it is, because maybe it's their coping mechanism. They don't like airing out their dirty laundry, or they don't like sharing those things because they are not comfortable with that, or maybe they're still going through it and they're not comfortable at that point to share. So I want to tell you that comparing our lives or having life goals, yes, we can have life goals. And this is what I've had to get into terms with. When I have someone that when I crave, let's say I'm craving someone else's life, I must ask myself, I always now ask myself, okay, why are you craving that? Because it's not bad, guys. Like, even in the Bible, I think there's a scripture that says that, you always want what other people your age want. You always craving the blessings that God gives to other people, because why wouldn't he do it for you if he's doing it for people? And it's not to say that he takes them away, so long as you don't want God to take them away from that person, but you want the blessings yourself, because you're thinking. But at the same time, I've said, why do you want that? Is it about the peace? Is it about, and God, can God give it to you the way that you need it in your life? Will it fit into your lifestyle? Let's say I am, for example, what am I? I am very bubbly. I like laughing. I like, I'm dramatic, guys. Like, that's my life. I'm very, very, very dramatic. Like, when I'm around, I'm just like, guys, what can we do? Where can we move? And all of that. And sometimes I found myself comparing myself maybe to people who are humble in inverted commas, I'm gonna put it like that. People who are humble, people who are quiet, that are not loud in the room, and who genuinely don't say a lot, or they don't goof around. And I've always asked myself, but why do you want that? Why do you feel like that? And I found that I always thought that if you are quiet, you are more respectable, or you are, more, or that life or that personality is more celebrated, And honestly, I found that as I navigate and as I move around that actually that's not true. My authenticity, hi guys, English, my authentic self, let me put it like that. My authentic self is what is actually celebrated. Yes, we need quiet people, but come on, we need someone that's gonna just be dramatic about things, and it's a balance, and I found that when I start comparing myself, I've had to literally stop myself and say, why are you wanting that? Whether I'm comparing my marriage, whether I'm comparing my weight, whether I'm comparing the way I look, I always have to find out that, why am I craving that? And it might be coming from a positive thing, but it becomes a negative thing when you can't control it and you think people are living a certain way. And if I can share, there was a friend of mine that actually we actually went to varsity, but not together. She went to varsity, so we lived together at some point in varsity and stuff, and she was really celebrating my life and really saying, yo, you've made a good life for yourself, how do you do it? Sometimes I get tired, and I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And right then and then I realized that she was comparing maybe her life to something that I'm not putting out there yet. Or maybe if I do put it out there, she doesn't see it. That actually I'm struggling too. Sometimes I'm tired too. And I've been where she was. Like when she actually spelled out how she actually feels, I'm like, dude, I've been there. Do you understand that I've been there? I might not be there right now, but I've certainly been where you are. And so you are comparing maybe two things, and she wasn't really like trying to compare or anything, but in my mind that's what came up to say, shame, I think she might be struggling because she's comparing maybe my chapter 9 to her chapter 5, because I've had the struggles that she's had, obviously maybe not loudly enough for her to think that I have those struggles, and not in her face, because we don't have that relationship, so she's not being able to see into my life. But that's what I shared with her. I was like, I have been there, I've done that, I've felt that way, this is how I survived, and I don't want you to ever think that when you look at my life that it's perfect. Yes, it's perfect in its own way, because it has its own problems and it has its own celebrations, but it's only because I'm here in life and you are there in life, So I wanted to speak about that, because I know that women, we're told to celebrate each other, we're told to always not like compare ourselves, and no one wants to actually admit that at some point they do compare themselves. And I just wanted to say, for myself, chain me, beat me up, do whatever you need to do. I have been in a position where I do compare myself, and sometimes even unhealthily, and I just want us to get to a point where we speak about these things and we really conversate to say, Yes, I do compare myself, but what am I comparing myself to? And to have those conversations, because once you can see that actually you're not the only one that has these feelings, then you can admit to those feelings and you can sort them out. Now I do have people that I look up to, but I also understand that if I'm looking up to someone on social media, then I don't see their everyday lives. Then I'm not aware of their struggles. I'm not aware of the real truth of the situation. I'm admiring what they have, and to understand that even when I get it, it might not even fulfill me the way that it fulfills them, because it's not my life, it's not my lifeline. So I just wanted to say, guys, I don't know, life goals, yes, they exist, and I do admire certain people. I do follow people on social media that I feel like these are life goals. These are people that, I feel pulled towards, because they might be doing a certain thing that I'm doing and doing it a certain way. Maybe a mom to a boy, someone that's married, someone that's, career driven, and all those things. So I do follow people and I do have life goals, but I found that it gets unhealthy when I really now pay intricate attention, and I think that they are getting something that I'm supposed to get, or I start feeling some type of way. I start not appreciating myself. I start feeling like my life sucks and I should change my life. What if I had acted a certain way in my past to gain whatever they have now? And really, we can't really go back to our past and fix anything there. All we have is today. And if you find yourself feeling like that, or comparing yourself in a way that makes you feel bad about your past and really not helping you move forward, then that's really unhealthy. And comparison is something that's there. I just want to put that out there. It's something that's there. And also, let us be on watch and also guide ourselves not to compare ourselves to pictures, because pictures don't move. Pictures don't show the real situation. Just that. The pictures won't show the fights that I had with my husband. The pictures won't show the fights that I had when I looked at myself in the mirror and I had to change my position and change the way that I'm posing in that actual picture. So you're seeing the picture, you're seeing my flat tummy, you're seeing this confident girl, but you don't understand that I had to pick that picture from 10 other pictures. Or I had to gym, or I had to do a certain thing, go to therapy to fall in love with that body that is your goal, if you understand what I mean. So all I'm saying is that let's just get to a point where we talk about the comparison thing, because I feel like women are still skeptical around that, because if you do admit that you are comparing, then people might find themselves uncomfortable around you, or I don't know. But again, all I'm saying is that when we do compare, please be realistic. What are you comparing to? Do you have the full details of your comparison? And if things are your life goals, why are they your life goals? What about them makes them your life goals? And why do you want them? And are you sure it's not filling up an insecurity rather than actually really your life goal? And yeah, talk to me, comment, send me a DM, and tell me if you've ever compared yourself and why did you compare yourself. And also, when you've compared yourself in a healthy way, how did it look? And when you've compared yourself in an unhealthy way, how did it look and how did it make you feel? And also, if you have experienced the comparison, maybe someone comparing themselves to you and you like, but then it's not the real truth of the matter, because and how are you even navigating the world, especially because social media is so out there, and so we can share our pictures, we share our lives so readily, and sometimes we don't really share when we are sitting down depressed and not wanting to wake up and all these things. And we shouldn't actually tell people to share things they are not comfortable with sharing. I just want to put that disclaimer. Do not force people to share things that they are not comfortable with sharing. And don't force people to say, oh, show us your real life, show us, because again, what are you going to do with that information? And you know that when someone is going through something, they might not be ready to share, and we should actually be comfortable with saying, okay, maybe that person didn't have an outlet, and they didn't find us the right people to share with. So it even happens with even when celebrities actually divorce, and people are like, there's no way. Why are they divorcing? Why? They were so happy. They were happy in pictures. And also maybe they did actually have those happy moments, but they also had moments which you didn't see. So maybe comparing your relationship to, you know, celebs and having couple goals, having life goals is not the wisest thing to do. So I'm going to leave it at that and say, I hope you found yourself in this conversation. I hope you found something to learn, and do really share and engage. I want to hear from you around this topic. And yeah, thank you.